Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you at our Fusion event 2022, which is our once-a-year premier event. My name is Adele, and I'm BDM in Australia, and I will be one of your hosts today. This event used to be an exclusive face-to-face event held in Vienna, but to reach a wider audience, we decided to change it onto a digital format to enable more of you to attend. Now, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Choi Gek, who is my counterpart in Singapore.
Thank you, Adele. Hello, good day, everyone. Welcome. I'm Choi Gek, Business Development Manager for Asia. I'm extremely happy to have all you here today with us. I'm very proud and excited to have nearly 1,500 people register from 90 countries for this particular event. Looking forward to exciting content. Over to you, Kono, the master planner for this very important event for us.
All right, thank you, Chege. Yes, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kono. I'm part of Therefore's digital engagement team, and I'm happy to be bringing you today's event along with my lovely colleagues, Chege, Adele, the rest of the Therefore team, and our wonderful participants, both from customers and from Canon. So just a quick thing I wanted to go over today, and that was the agenda. So I will say all the times that we see here are Singapore times. I understand we're covering a huge, almost half the world here, but you know, we had to synchronize on a single time zone. So we're looking at Singapore time. So right now it is 1 p.m. In Singapore, and for the first 10 or so minutes, we're going to be just having an introduction with us, with the Therefore team. And then we're going to jump straight into the content. So the first thing that we have for you is a panel discussion called All the Data All the Time about managing large volumes of data, but I don't want to spoil it too much. So after that, we have the Therefore product demo, and that's where our CTO and our VP of product here at Therefore are going to be showing you the latest features in Therefore, and you can see some of the features that have been released this year with Therefore 2022, and some of the features that will be released actually very soon with the next update of Therefore Online. After that, a very exciting part, I know everyone is looking forward to this, the customer success stories. So we have two really exciting stories for you today about that. And so this should bring us to about the 90-minute mark, which should put us at about 2:30 p.m. Singapore time. We're just going to do a closing, check if any of you have any questions. If you do have questions during today's event, please use the Q&A function in Zoom. So everyone on the call is muted. We have several hundred people on the call, so all the participants are muted. So if you do have any questions, definitely feel free to ask so with the Q&A function.
So what is Therefore? Therefore is a software solution allow you to maximize the usefulness of your information. It's a worldwide known real-time business platform which contains three main areas, not feature, main areas. So basically what does it do? It's used to manage strategic information in a secure and centralized location. We give you the total access control of your information. And of course, it is able to automate and optimize the business processes, which are through the robust workflow to drive your business forward. Last but not least, to gather the business analytics by generating report or use a Therefore dashboard to gain insights into your system, give you the visibility for the intelligent decision making. So we actually have a lot of people using our Therefore across the globe by thousands of users covering all industry and departments and different business processes. The beauty of our Therefore solution is that we have two different infrastructure options. The first one is on-prem. Basically, you install the software on the server, and we also have the options for you to, which is in the cloud. We are hosted on the Microsoft Azure. So with Therefore, okay, it can scale up. It can Therefore skills to provide the right functionality for all types of companies, from SMB to the larger enterprise. So therefore, you actually can capture the paper documents and we can utilize it, and also the electronic informations. So allow you to actually can access your data anytime, anywhere with any devices. So this is a very flexible, and of course that we secure the data within a central repository for you to access it with different roles-based and also different permissions. So therefore, you also definitely can automate the business processes. You can actually easily create any workflow for you to automate and to get approval without much of hassle. So basically we manage a strategic information which is as an asset for you. We allow you to do any integration for with the third party and also with the Microsoft applications. So having all this information in the system, definitely we would like to analyze it. So you can generate a report. You also can use the dashboard, our Therefore dashboard, to see the information, so that you can actually have a measure what is the performance indicators for you to make a very good decision. So actually, Therefore have given a lot of benefit to our customer, and I would like to name 5 of them over here. It can boost the productivity for your company, no time lost in searching for informations in the workflow approval. Okay, of course that we can improve the reactivity, which is allow you to have a clear overview of the processes, and for you to have processes, and for you to able to answer to your customer, to improve the customer service. The third key benefit is that to have a better visibility, clear overview of the processes with a central location and audit trail, that you can actually able to see who actually have accessed the information, who have approved the workflow. So of course, security is very important, which is we have a lot of customers have enjoyed. We're allowed to enhance security, which is to keep safe and secure the information in the system. So last but not least, the great flexibility, which a lot of customers enjoying today, especially in the new normal. We would like to access our information everywhere, anywhere, anytime with any devices. Not only that, we also give you the flexibility to allow you to implement the solutions from small, and you can slowly grow big, okay? So there's all the flexibility our solution could give it to you. So for those who are just, I have seen that I know about 28% of you who are pretty new to our solutions. I hope that with this short introduction of our Therefore solution, you have a better understanding of Therefore solution now. And definitely for those who are already with us for a long time, this is a refresher for you. Right, so I have shared with you the introduction of Therefore. Now I would like to introduce a very important guest, which is, I'm glad to introduce Michael, who will be sharing our company strategy, how we are shaping the future, and how we intend to meet it. Michael, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Choi Gek. Let's talk about how we shape what's next. Our strategy is to be the platform for real-time business. In reality, this means the platform for your business. We understand you have a business to run, and we want to give you a reliable technology to grow and give you peace of mind to help you focus on your core operations. We all have heard that the economic forecast for 2023 will be challenging, and we are reading in the newspaper about an economy slowdown and inflationary pressures. Now, we all know that with every challenge, there is also opportunity. And this is exactly why we at Therefore are optimistic and focused on giving you adaptability and visibility through our platform. The 2 factors we want to get right for you are time and money. With time, the efficiency you gain with Therefore is as close as you can get to buying time. We know you are all passionate about optimizing the way your business runs, and we want to give you the tool to achieve your goals. With money, we are focused on delivering measurable results to your business with clear and predictable cost of ownership. And how does Therefore deliver? For businesses, we deliver the results you need. For people, we deliver trust and dependability. Creating a global product is all about listening to our customers and partners. Thank you for the trust you place in Therefore for running your mission-critical operations. Today, our team is proud to present not only the Therefore product and technology, but also to share concepts and ideas and customer stories to contribute to your success in 2023. Enjoy the event.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Michael. One of the things that you actually mentioned was the need for a reliable and scalable technology platform. I believe personally that this is more relevant than ever because of the ever-increasing amount of data that businesses of really every size, from global enterprises down to small local businesses, need to handle. And not only handle, but also making sure that making use of that data is definitely key to optimizing your business. So to expand more on this topic, I'd like to call my colleagues back to the stage to help us get started with the next part, which is our group discussion. So Tragek, Adele, I'm going to hand it back to you, and let's get started.
Thanks very much, Kono. Okay, now I'd like to welcome our panelists. As Kono mentioned, the next one is the panel discussion. So please, panelists, turn on your camera and your microphone, and let's get started with this. All right, now, so I'd like to introduce our panelists. We have a really good lineup today. Doug Gergas, Technology and Operations Director at Canon Oceania. We have Chi-Fei Lan, Assistant Director, BI's Planning and Marketing at Canon Singapore, and Stefan Barth, our very own CTO at Therefore. Now, we do have an exciting topic and very relevant topic indeed today, all data all the time, which I'm sure most of you can relate to. So how are organizations and IT departments dealing with the huge amounts of data that a modern day company produces and interacts with? So first, Doug, what has been your experience at Canon Australia in regards to dealing with the huge amounts of data? I'm sure you had a lot of it.
Well, first, thanks for having me, Adele and the team. I'm really excited to be on the panel today. In terms of all the data that we've got, I suppose to give some context, a few years ago we bought a couple of really medium-sized businesses, Converger and Harbour IT. And our strategy was really to develop a services business, and we've merged those and rebranded those Canon Business Services. And so as part of that strategy, we had to consolidate a lot of our systems, a lot of our finance systems, our marketing systems, and also our HR systems. And so addressing data on its own, I find that really challenging, and I think a lot of businesses would struggle to do that. So through the consolidation projects that we've had, we've addressed data that way, and being able to really clean it up and keep it, get rid of, modernize the data, make it fresh and current. But I suppose the challenge now is that as those projects have come to an end, it's about transitioning into BAU and wrapping governance around it to make sure that the data again doesn't go out of date and become irrelevant. So that's really the journey that we've been on, is really consolidation and addressing data that way. But now we're taking on the challenge of trying to put governance around those pools of data.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point you mentioned, and I imagine this is something which will never stop, and you guys have acquired other companies ever since the big three. So this is something what will always be important and relevant. Chi-Fei, what is your experience in regards to moving, merging, and consolidating huge amounts of data? Do you have something like that in Singapore, or is that a similar approach?
First of all, thank you very much, Adele and Tragek, for the invitation. I'm Chi-Fei from Canon Singapore. So for this panel, I think the discussion point, I will come in with the perspective more on the as a all of us are the leaders in the organization. How do we plan to handle as we see that the influx of information that is coming into the organization is getting more and more. So before I put things into context, I just try to get everybody imaginations that you just imagine the information is just like wave. So when you're at the beach, if there's no high volume of information coming in, the waves are nice, everything is cooling. But then when you see a lot of information that's coming in, if I relate it to wave, so there's three characteristics of the wave. So first of all is the height. The height of the wave, you see the wave is high, which means the volume is a lot. And I think the second thing that we look at the information as wave is also the wavelength. If you see the between the trough is close, the wavelength, that means your speed of your information is coming at a very high speed. Of course, and the third thing I look at it is the amplitude of the wave. That's equivalent to the variety of information that is moving into your organization. And of course, looking at the wave, you are just seeing the information that the top part of the information that it can be seen by everyone in the organization. But there's also some underneath undercurrent, the wave like the new normal that we are facing now. People are looking at the new mode of working anywhere securely, anytime on any device. So these two forces, the rising of the information, the level of information coming in, as well as the demand for the new mode of working, is definitely shaping the future of information that all of us as the leaders in the organization that we have to take up the challenge. So and then if I look at how organizations as leaders, how do we try to overcome and how do we handle deal with this type of modern days huge amount of data. So if I look at I use back the wave concept, that we will try to build breakwaters. You build a coastal defense against the tidal wave that is coming in. So if I switch it, the other perspective means we have to build data resiliencies in the organization. And there's no other way to do it. We have to become, as a future company, that we are truly, all of us, a true digital organization. So earlier when I shared about this, the three characteristics of the wave, the speed of the information coming in, I think how the organization and the IT department should deal with is first, all of us as management of the company, we have to align the business and the technology strategy. So the challenges will keep on coming. It's just like the wave of information will keep coming in. So we have to be aligned and ready to take on the challenge, and so that the company can respond with speed and agility. So as long as everyone has the same common goals, we will take on the challenge. And of course, if we look at the variety of information that's coming in today, there's so many different type of new data type that's coming in, and many things are stored at different storage system. So this poses as what Doug has said, is some of governance and security, data security challenges. And therefore, we need to rethink as the company move forward, how do we overcome all these outdated manual approaches and move on to modernizing the information system that we have in the company. And that is the variety bit I mentioned. And of course, the last part of the characteristic is the volume, that the height of the wave that you are coming in. I think there's no shortcut to that. Is we definitely have to invest in good information management system, like therefore platform, so that we can give the capability to the employees, to the staff, that they can able to share and find content easily, and then we can help them to make the workflow more intelligent. And of course, with therefore online, I also see the potential of moving more functions to the cloud. So in short, to just summarize what I've said, I think we can't move away. Is digital transformation is definitely important, but you need three things. We definitely need to invest. You have to be focused, and of course, the company culture have to support this entire transformation. So over to you, back to Adele.
Well, thanks very much, Chife. This was a very good metaphor of the waves coming in like information. I really like this. And it is definitely, we have to manage the waves, the amount of water as information we're getting. But how about a technical challenge that organizations face in integrating the large volumes of data, which is like the waves coming in? Now, I already have some water here, going back to your metaphor. Doug, how do you go about that at Canon?
Yeah, well, I think in this response might sound a little bit silly, but I think sometimes just even identifying the source of truth can be a challenge, because you have, as Chi said, you've got all this data coming in, and it crosses all these different systems, and to know where the source of truth for a certain data set is really important. Through our consolidation, we consolidated all of our HR systems into one system. But before we did that, there was some belief that in certain areas that even our Active Directory was the source of truth of all of our people. But when we consolidated the HR systems across all the companies into one, we made that decision that the HR system was the source of truth for all of our people, not just our employees, but anyone that would access our system. And then from there, we did the integration through to Active Directory, which would then be updated when there's changes in the HR system, which is SAP SuccessFactors. And then when we rebuilt all of our intranet, we adopted a SaaS platform for that, and then integrated that into AD. So then, that when there are changes in the HRS, it flows through to Active Directory and then flows all the way through to the intranet as well. So I think source of truth is something really, really important in defining, and unless you know that, you're really going to struggle to integrate the data.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. I couldn't agree more with this one. Yeah, source of truth is really, really important of the information too. So, Chife, what do you think about this aspect of merging data and integrating data itself?
I pick up from what Doug has earlier shared, that as and when the data become more and more incoming to the organization, the governance is of all the entire system is trying to catch up. Looking at the speed that the organization is deploying out the technologies, trying to cope with the new normal of working. I would say that is a very critical challenge that be it at the IT side or the business side, I think we have to seriously look at it, because the intersection of all these data, as you have mentioned, the sources of truth, all these are making the entire data environment very, very complex. And then we do see sometimes the data are in silos, and you can see there are duplicated efforts appearing everywhere. And definitely, to a certain extent, the data security somehow, or rather one day, you'll be compromised. Of course, when everything is fine, nobody have any problem. But when you are being compromised, then we start to relook at why we did not have better platforms to secure it. And therefore, I would say the governance is definitely a major challenge now, as and when we are moving in a very fast pace for the data in the organization.
Thanks so much, Chife. These are all very good points, but now I'd like to ask Stefan. So Stefan, discussing some of these challenges in integrating large volumes of data, I wanted to ask your opinion. What do you think? What could be a solution for a company? Like, let's start off with low-code, no-code integrations. This is something that we commonly hear about in both marketing and technical circles, but what exactly does this mean in the context of information management? Could you comment on this one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks. Sure. Low-code, no-code integration, it tries to help with integrating the data you have in different applications. As you mentioned, you need to connect this data somehow to have a consolidated view to get rid of problems with inconsistencies. But the traditional way of connecting systems with real development is always a quite tough thing to do. You need the developers working on it. You need the development skills. Coding takes time, testing takes time. In the end, you end up with an integration which is not easy to change, because you always have to go back to the source code, change it, recompile. So it's quite a heavy method. And that's where the low-code, no-code integration comes in. And as the name says, we want to get rid of the coding requirement to make projects much easier to do and much more lightweight. So we're talking about methods like building integrations based on graphical user interface, maybe sending REST requests between the two systems, and even small scripts are allowed here. So I think the term no code is quite clear. We avoid completely the coding. Low code is a bit of an interesting wording, right? What is low code? And low code means exactly this, that you have small scripts which are much easier to handle than standard source code, because you have them in the configuration UI, so you can always see it. Every administrator can make minor adaptations. It's quite easy code and short code. So these are the concepts which help you a lot.
Thanks so much, Stefan. So it does sound like that low-code, no-code integration is way to the future for us, and we will see a lot more about this. So that's pretty much the next hot thing in IT circles. Does this have any effect on Darefor's product development strategy?
Sure, of course. And I would say it's not such a new concept. I mean, when I look back at the history where Therefore comes from, right from the beginning, we already had reference tables concept to integrate Therefore with other applications, getting a supplier database into the system and have it ready at the Therefore for indexing. Also, there are many integrations built with Therefore just based on workflow, maybe exporting data where another application can pick it up, or the other way around based on content connector. So we, all over the years, we always were using this a lot. And more recently, we, for example, have the workflow call REST task, where you can put in a simple REST call in the Therefore workflow to send data from Therefore to other applications or pick up data from other applications. And call REST is, of course, a much tighter integration than just based on export and content connector. And I can also tell you, we are following this direction. So currently our developers are working on this call REST task to give many more options here to the specialists when setting up Therefore, to have good ways of communicating Therefore with other applications.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Interesting. Yes, sorry, Adele?
No, nothing. Just over to you, Choi Gek.
Right. Thank you very much for all the insightful informations. Very interesting discussion there, and understanding of the wave and the volume, and also to integrate the SAP HR system all together. This is not easy job for all of you. So one of the topic that we have been hearing a lot about the context of large scale integration project is data fabric, right? Stefan, can you tell us more about data fabric concept and how it can help solve the integrations challenges?
Okay, yeah, data fabric. The first thing to say here is that's a design concept, and it adds an additional layer on top of the data repositories you have. The big idea here is that the data fabric gives you a unified way to access all your data in all your repositories, no matter where they are, whether they are cloud hosted, on premise, whether they are more in processes, is this a database, everything. In a data fabric, this should be a central point where you can access all your data you have in the company. to have unified access, to integrate all this data, to share all this data. And obviously, once you have such a consolidated view, it's much easier to connect the data points, perform analytics on all the different data. So this helps with getting insight into your data and make it much more valuable. We have heard from Doug and G5 many things around governance. This is so a data fabric is a great starting point to get control over all of your data, because you have a single place where you can see all your data, where you can define permissions. So here, data fabric clearly is a great tool which can help with the governance of all your data. Mm-hmm.
Right. Thank you, Stefan, for sharing with us about how the insight information about how the data fabric concept works. And then we all know that it's very tough to extract the insights of from the data. It's just as large as a challenge. So just want to understand from you also that, Stefan, how do you see the future of data analytics with the Therefore solution?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, data analytics with Therefore is of course also a very important topic. You're probably all aware that we introduced several years ago already analytics features in Therefore based on SQL Server reporting and Power BI. So to give our customers a way to get insight into the data, and here I'm really talking about very focused this data which they have in Therefore. I'm not talking about the really big stuff before you asked me about data fabric. So this is a very much enterprise view of things. Analytics in Therefore is of course much more focused on the data you have in Therefore, which is just a very small portion. But on the other hand, also this information is extremely valuable, of course. Understanding your business processes, how are your workflows doing, what data you have also in your categories, in the index data of your documents. So this is clearly a big topic for us. And well, we didn't stop with this analytics stuff, so that the new development here is in the dynamic web view. We also introduced dashboards, which again help our customers, our end users, to have some analytics in that start screen when they open up the dynamic web view, so they can have some statistics on new documents, on workflows. They can see the workflow inbox. It's really customizable to their specific needs. And so we try to make it really easy. So this is not the big one, it's the easy one to get started with analytics. And so that's how we help with the Therefore product.
Right. Thank you so much for all the information and the sharing of your view and the comments. So thank you very much for the participation. And I would like to end this discussion today. And I would like to hand over this session back to Kono.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chagek. Thank you, everyone. Very insightful discussion. Again, I would like to thank especially Doug, Chife, Stefan for taking the time to talk to us today, to share really valuable insights. All three of you have different perspectives on things, so it was really great to see your interpretation of the concepts that we've talked about. But staying with the topic of technology for now, I would like to ask Stefan to stay with us for the next session. And I would also like to ask my colleague Wolfgang to join us. So Stefan and Wolfgang, feel free to get us started with the product demo.
Yeah, thank you. So welcome to the product session here at the Fusion event. Wolfgang and me would like to give you an overview, an update on new features, new developments at Therefore. And while Wolfgang will give you a demo, I will start this presentation by giving you a bit of insight with the presentation to give a bit of overview about the new features. I'm talking here about Therefore 2022, which was released in spring already, and also Therefore Online version 28, which is brand new right now, and in Therefore Online, the upgrades are currently running. So these are the 2 releases for this year. I'm here in the presentation quickly mentioning the Therefore integration for Teams, the dynamic web view, and Therefore Smart Capture enhancements. So let's start with integration for Teams. This is really a completely new module we have added to Therefore. And the first release here is really focused on one specific use case, and this is working with workflow instances from Teams. So you also see here in the animated screenshot, a screenshot of Teams where you have something like a Therefore chat, where the Therefore system will inform end users about incoming tasks they have to do in their workflow, and they can act on these tasks immediately from the interface they have in Teams. Wolfgang will demonstrate this, so I think I don't need to go much more into the details. But this Teams integration, the key point here really is it's focused on workflow processing directly from the Teams UI. The dynamic web view was also greatly enhanced over the year. Stability, performance was improved, but also many more features which are known from our installed client and the classic web client have been introduced. So the recent improvements were, for example, that you can execute saved searches also from the dynamic web view, or that the hit list layout stays there if you adapt it to your needs, accessing eForms. You see here the long list of improvements which have been done with these 2 releases. And again, some of them will be shown. At least the dynamic web view is, of course, part of the demo. Maybe one feature which I want to explain a bit more is in the dynamic web view that dashboards can be shared. So you have here an example of a dashboard so that you have a start screen in your dynamic web view where you can see some information, analytic data, but you can also have your personal workflow inbox directly on the screen. You can have a drop zone for saving new documents. You can really customize this according to your specific needs. And by adding the feature that you can share dashboards, we open up this now for power users defining a great dashboard, spending some time in configuring as it's required for a customer and makes sense for a team, and then they can share it among the team with the other users so that it's much easier for not so technical end users to also get the benefits from this feature. The third area for my quick overview about enhancements would be the Therefore Smart Capture. With our current release, we also introduced the option that you can have multiple queues below Smart Capture. This allows for better handling of different document types. For example, you have invoices, but you also have delivery notes. So you want to have a bit of a different configuration for both types. And this is now much easier possible and has much more functionality in this new release by defining separate queues for the 2 different document types and process everything with a queue which is optimized for this specific use case. Other improvements, for example, a licensing change. The credits you buy for Smart Capture, they never expire now. Yeah, just make sure whatever customer buys here, he can use it even if the volume is lower than expected. We also had introduced the feature to skip the manual verification. So I guess most of you know the typical process of Smart Capture, that you first upload a document, then Smart Capture will extract the index data automatically from the document, let's say an invoice. And then as a next step, a user would do a manual verification, so verifying the data which was picked up and the ability to correct it. And then the document is saved to a final category where the standard invoice processing workflow can continue. And by having this option, we introduced confidence levels. So if the engine is really sure, according to the configured confidence level, that the recognition was correct for all fields, then you can automatically move it to the processing without doing a manual verification step. So this is the improvement. Also, data matching was improved, that customers who have the supplier database already and therefore as a reference table can make use of this in the extraction, in the automatic data extraction. This obviously improves accuracy of the data which you have in the end. Okay, so this was my quick overview about new features, but it's always much better to see this in action, and that's where I would like to take Wolfgang to take over and show it to us in a demo.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan. Yeah, hello everyone to the demo of the new features. So Stefan was already given a quite neat and good introduction on what I'm supposed to show in the next 15-20 minutes. Basically, I'm going to show two different scenarios. Actually, the first one is more around HR and like application handling process, so about people applying for a job in your company. And the second part is more around accounts payable and featuring the changes in Smart Capture. To start off with the first process, how people apply through your company website. So a very well received feature, and the feature that we're going to start off with is actually our eForms feature. So I'm going to fire off now an eForm for people to apply for a job. This is an eForm which is accessible anonymously, so you don't have to log in for that. And this can also quite easily be part of your own website in an iframe, or can be embedded. So it looks like an integrational part of your homepage. But let's start this off with just filing my application. So I'm gonna add an application for Julia here. So just entering all the required data. She's applying for a QA job with us. And now we're going to also upload her CV. And that's pretty much it. So by submitting this to Therefore, the job application and the CV is saved. And in the background, it's firing off a workflow process, which brings us to the next new and big feature that Therefore has, which is the Teams connector. Because in this case, you see already the notification coming up in Teams here. Because now I'm here connected as Carlos, who is like one member of a multiple people QA team. And he now received the notification in Teams. And you see this card, which contains quite some information about, about the process. So first of all, here you see the process is running on, because for sure notifications work across multiple processes. So you can use it for all of your workflows. This gives you information about the current step. So we are currently about to review the CV that we received. We also have some metadata about the document, like first name, last name, so the data entered by the applicant. And we got our instructions for the user. So what he actually should be doing here. In this case, he should be reviewing the CV and then decide, if the application is going to be accepted and an interview should be scheduled, or if this is a rejection and yeah, there will not be any interview. For sure, it's not easy to judge from here. So the person processing needs to be able to view the document. So that's why this button View Document is here. So if you press it, it redirects us back to the Therefore Dynamic Web View and brings up the document here. So now again, we see the application as a whole. And for sure, we also see the CV. Obviously, I used the wrong one. Sorry for that. I was obviously picking the wrong CV here. Yeah, but that's how somebody can check the CV, can check the data. And if he gets back to Teams, then he can if required, not mandatory, check the additional information, add some message for the next processor, and take the final decision to interview the candidate. And by this, finish the workflow step and forward it to the next person in the process. So actually quite neat and easy. And this works the same way on the mobile phone, on the iPad. So everywhere you have Teams installed or in the web browser, the app will work the same way. But I want to show one more specifics about the connector. For this, I need to file a second application now. So just this time, let's use the right CV here. So he's an Angular developer actually. And now let's. So John Green, and we submit it. So one thing that's for sure happening again is that Carlos gets a notification into his Teams, but this time actually we want to process it with a different person, who is Kathy, who is also from the HR team. So I'm going to log in now using the different account here. Going to the workflow processes and have the job applications in here and open John Green. I think the thing which is very important in a day-to-day working with this Teams integration is that it stays in sync. So that means whenever somebody else has taken the task from you or already processed it, for sure it must not stay in Teams for you because it was done already. So what I can show you here is that if not, another person of the HR team, like Kathy, is taking the instance here and saying, okay, well, he doesn't fit, I'm going to reject this application, that this is actually immediately updated in Teams too. So you see here now that the second application, the task was unassigned from you. So these cards, these Teams actions stay in sync between all of the clients. And whenever somebody else is processing the task from you, it's going to be removed from your Teams, so it doesn't show up anymore, and so you don't do any wrong actions like processing it again or things like that. So that's, I think, very important here that the tasks and the cards are updated whenever something is happening in the workflow, which is outside of Teams. But still, for sure, I mean, if you want to check back what happened, you can always still press the View Document button, and by this get back and check once more what was going on there. Another very nice feature that Stefan was also mentioning in his introduction is the dashboard, for sure. So what I want to quickly go back to the dashboard is to show you just, in case you didn't see it yet, how such a dashboard might look like. And in this case, you also see that it gives you quite neat and interesting information about the status of your process. In this case, you get a quite nice overview about the number of co-applications and the state they're in. So you can quite quickly see that you got currently 4 candidates scheduled for a first round interview, and you have to still inform 3 candidates of rejection. For the QA team and for the developers, you have 5 in first round interview and the other states here. So it gives you quite a good and neat overview on first glance, what status your workflows are in and how your process is running at this moment in time. And as Stefan was mentioning already, these dashboards can be predefined by a power user and can be shared with a team by using the share feature, which can be accessed through this configuration screen and using this globe icon. But I don't want to go too much into detail here, but in the end, the thing to take away is that also complicated dashboards, everything you want to prepare for the team, you can do it and then share with the people that need it. So last but not least, I want to focus on one quite big new feature for the dynamic web view, which is about and around searching. So if I go to my job applications category now, a new area which has not been here before is the quick search part, where down there you basically can see some predefined quick access searches and also the prepared searches from the backend for the navigator, which are already saved there. Basically, the first 2, newest and modified by me, are default ones prepared by the system. So those 2 are available for each and every category. And if you click, for example, newest, it brings you directly into your hit list and shows you the documents ordered by the creation date. And so you can very easily access your system and your documents and quite easily see the new stuff there. For sure, if you're now in this list and want to drill down a little and say, okay, but I'm not interested in all of the applications, you can easily go here into the role area and, for example, start typing QA, which will actually filter your list for only QA jobs. In a similar manner, you could, for example, filter for first name starting with J or similar things. So you're quite flexible here and further drill down this hit list and these results, and in the end find what you need. Also very important, if I go to one of the saved searches like the Open Developer Applications here, there's multiple things that are now taken from the backend here. First of all, you see that it keeps like the ordering of the columns. It's keeping and using the grouping status. So if, in this case, it's group application status. So you can collapse and expand these areas here. It's also pre-filtering the list already. So that's actually taken from the query to search to filter for developers only. Yeah, but this actually you can quite neatly prepare good views, good searches from the backend to the users already. And now, which is the new feature, they can also use it in the dynamic web view. And again, also here the same thing works. If you want to search for like specific countries, you can always start typing here, and it does filter down further the list. So that's one of the bigger new topics here. So you can also quite easily access your results from here. One last thing to mention, because I think this is a feature which is a little bit underestimated and not understood very well, so I just want to mention it here. Simple search is also quite a nice one to search, like in the index data, if you don't know exactly where you're going to find it or what you're going to search for, because this is actually doing a search across all index data in one shot. So you don't have to, in advanced search, you can go and select, okay, I want to search for a specific role, but sometimes you don't know exactly where in which index data field the data is, and for example, by just typing a name and pressing the search button, you quite quickly get the results, no matter in which index data field the data was saved to. So there's actually also quite neat and a very flexible way to quickly find your data you need in the dynamic web view. Okay, so this was the first part of the demonstration, which is focusing around an HR process. I'm going to switch now to the second demo, which is a little bit shorter and focusing around accounts payable. Basically, what Stefan was also mentioning in his presentation is that now Smart Capture got a quite good extension to be able to manage multiple queues. So that means in the past, up to now, you had to decide if you are supposed to change or to index or use Smart Capture for invoices, or if you use it for delivery notes or for purchase orders. And now Smart Capture is much more flexible on this, because you can create different queues which are searching for different data on the document, which for sure improves the recognition quality dramatically. And so, for example, if I compare these two queues I have here for delivery notes and invoices, for example, for invoices, you see, we are looking for invoice type, invoice date, issue date, so a lot of data around invoice recognition for sure, focus there. And what we also use in this scenario is we have the data matching defined here. Also, Stefan was mentioning this before. So we upload vendor data here to Smart Capture. So information about our vendor list, and this is going to be used to enhance the recognition quality for the invoices. For delivery notes, it's a little bit different, because we have a very different set of fields that we're going to look for, much less, because the delivery note doesn't contain most of the data an invoice has. So that's also enhancing the recognition for sure, because we know specifically what to search for. And in this case, we also enable the automation. So that means that the delivery node actually should be automatically processed when we see a confidence level of 80%. So as long as the system is 80% confident that the data is correct, we're not going to get a validation step, but we can immediately process it. I don't want to get into much more detail in here because it's pretty technical, but in the end, I think the takeaway point here would be to be able to define multiple queues for different types of documents and with different sets of features in an optimized way. For the demo, I'm gonna switch to Kathy here. and go to the dashboard now. I will start this off by saving an invoice and a delivery note to the system quite quickly. So I'm going to take the invoice and just drop it here onto the incoming invoices tile. I don't have to specify any metadata or index data. This is all coming from Smart Capture in the end. And the same for delivery note, just drop it here. Again, this immediately triggers off a workflow process in the background, uploads the data to Smart Capture, does recognition, and then let us validate it in the workflow. So I'm just checking for the workflow part now and go to the Smart Capture process where the invoice is already waiting for me. So basically I'm just double clicking here to get into the Smart Capture UI. There you go. So we see the invoice on the right, and we see the data that Smart Capture was extracting. So we got a tax invoice, we got the invoice number correctly read here, issue date, there's no due date on the invoice actually. Here the vendor name is actually coming and is matched against our database. So this is the data we uploaded, all of our vendors, and the system was correctly assigning the right vendor for us. And then also using the additional vendor data here at the bottom of the screen. And also the other parts of the invoice have been read correctly, the currency, the tax. So we can actually confirm it, press the button, which basically takes this metadata back to the system and just saves the document to the final category. If I now go back to my incoming invoices and check here what happened, I see this is now the invoice I just had here, and I'm opening it up again to show it to you and also show you the metadata that was extracted from it. So you see here all the data, the invoice number, the data that we had in Smart Capture. But the interesting bit is for sure that without even having to touch it, if I go for linked objects, the delivery node is already also assigned and linked. So this was completely processed in the background from the system. No need to touch or approve it. And it was also assigned to this invoice immediately. And I can open it up from here for sure. But this is now the delivery node I just saved a minute ago. And also here you see the metadata that was extracted, in this case even with line items. And this is correctly saved to the system. So in this case, it was not even required to touch it or verify it because the threshold of 80% was met. And so the delivery node could automatically be processed and finalized. Yeah, well, this is pretty much the end of my demo. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of that. And yeah, back to Stefan or Kono in case there are questions or things to clarify.
Yeah, thanks, Wolfgang. Yeah, we do have a number of questions, actually. We are a little behind schedule, so I'm not going to be able to get to all of them. I started answering some of them by chat. I apologize if we don't get to your question, but we will definitely follow up with everyone who's joining. We'll set these questions up in a nice document along with the answer. So we can do a few of them, though. We still have a few minutes. So I'm just going to answer. So in the interest of fairness, I will answer them in the order received for the next 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll have to move on to the next session. So again, if I don't get to yours, nothing personal. All right. So first question we got was, what other document types does Smart Capture support now other than invoices?
Well, as of today, Smart Capture supports financial documents. So these are invoices, proof of delivery. These are purchase orders, all documents which have pretty much a similar layout. That's the state as of today. We are looking into the idea of supporting other document types, but here this is of course cooperation with our provider here for the AI, and we keep you updated with the next release.
Okay, thanks, Stefan. So another question around Smart Capture is, in the case of invoice processing workflows, kindly confirm if therefore charges per invoice which gets automated, or if it's a general licensing cost.
Smart Capture is licensed per pages which you process. Yeah, and it's a differentiation then also between whether you recognize line items, yes or no. Line items are a bit more expensive, but it's based on volume.
Yes, per page. Okay, next question was, can we extract data from scanned PDFs using Smart Capture?
Yes.
Exactly, clear answer there. Next one is about Teams. So the question is, if I want to reject a task in Teams and I had a condition that additional information is required, will an error come up in Teams?
Yeah, it will show you that you need to specify the extra information. It will even expand the area, and so really pushing you to provide what's required.
Okay. Next question about Teams. On Teams, can the application document be accessed again by others after someone already opened or marked it for interview or rejected, maybe for other evaluations? So basically, can you go back and look at a document after it's been processed by someone else?
Yeah, I mean, but depending on the access rights for sure. But in the end, I mean, you saw that the Teams card is exchanged with a card which still has a view document link on it, so you can go there by Teams if you have the card open still. And for sure, inside therefore, I mean, you can always go to the category and access the file by regular means, as long as you have the proper permission for it. Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, and the last one, because again, in the interest of time, we do have to move on. So for the saved searches, where are the searches configured or saved? Is this done in the Navigator or in the Dynamic Web Viewer?
Yeah, for now, this is done in the Navigator. I mean, to be able to do this in Dynamic Web View and keep the layout and the hit list is one of the next steps focus for us to add this feature. But for now, it's using the searches defined inside of Navigator and saved globally for all users.
Okay. Thank you, Wolfgang. So we do have to move on now. Again, apologies if we didn't get to your question, but we did receive a lot of them, which is great. So thank you so much for your interest. We're going to stay with the technical topic just 2-3 more minutes. I'm going to ask Adele to show us something about this integration that Canon Australia is rolling out. So Stefan, Wolfgang, thank you so much for the great product demo, and we'll go to Adele.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks very much, Kono, and for this very insightful technology session. It was really, really good. But now, as mentioned, we're sticking with technology a little bit longer. And this is indeed a very special topic just for you APAC Fusion attendees, so consider yourself special. So we talked about the power of low-code, no-code integration earlier, and this is a perfect example of this. So I'm really excited to bring this to you now and take this opportunity. Xero, you may or may not know, I suspect yes, is an accounting software for small and medium businesses. They have 47% market share in Australia, and they are in hyper growth. So it is a very successful application. Meanwhile, Xero offers huge value to its customers. It's lacking solution around automation for customers with large number of invoices. So we have come across some customer challenges that led us on the path of discovering REST API calls from Therefore to Xero in collaboration with Canon Australia. So the process now is very streamlined, and we are utilizing most of the power of Therefore and Therefore's most powerful features. So our 6-step accounts payable process starts with digitizing invoices, of course, regardless of its form, paper or digital. Data extraction and validation will happen by our Smart Capture engine. Then we'll highlight any discrepancies with PO matching and duplicate checks. Then the system auto GL codes the line items, and the approvals will happen after, so it can be paid ad hoc or in a payment run. So payments can be made directly from Therefore or Xero, so it doesn't matter which system you're using. It's really all about one source of truth, as you also discussed in our panel discussion, and the importance of this. And as the two-way integration indicates, these two systems are fully synchronized, having the same values at all times, ensuring data integrity. And it is a little bit about what Michael mentioned in his introduction about we're giving you back time and money. This is exactly that, because you have invested in Xero and it gives you the functionality you need for your accounts payable process, but you don't want to go through and type in hundreds and thousands of invoices you might be receiving every week, every month. You do not want to look for duplicates yourself. You do not want to match the PO with the actual invoice. You want to rely on something, a system that does it for you. And therefore is this system with Xero. So I'd like to mention again, really important note, this outcome is achieved with out-of-the-box features without coding, scripting. So we're ticking the box for low-code, no-code. And of course, there is a lot more where this is coming from. I hope we sparked your interest, and please do reach out if we did. But now I'd like to hand it back to Kono, as probably the best part of the event is about to come, which is the customer stories.
Yes, exactly. So let's jump right into the customer stories. We have two of these for you today. Chagek, could you please introduce us to our first customer?
Wow, I can't wait to introduce my customer on board to share with us how they should have gone through the digital transformation journey. Okay, I would like to introduce my customer, which is Oilers India. He will talk about the challenges before the digital transformations, what are the why should they have chosen Canon therefore, and the solutions, benefit, and next plan. Okay, the journey which is they have gone through, and he would like to share with us. Let's all welcome Deepak, the head of IT.
Hi everyone, thank you Jorge for inviting me. Good afternoon. I'm Deepak. I'm heading the IT department in Oils India Private Limited. Now I'm moving to the next slide that is related to the about us. So Oils is the world leader in the field of self-lubricant bearings, damping devices. Oils is a part of the Oils Corporation Japan. We are the manufacturing self-lubricant bearings and dealing with all major car manufacturers in India as well outside India. So these are the automotive application where Oils product installed. And apart from this, we have Oils is available in different sectors, like in the power, dam gates, power solution, thermal power plant, vehicles, iron steel plants, and many more. Today, I would like to share my experience with you people. So first one, in last year, we started our journey with the Canon Airport, and we did the lots of UEC with the different DMS solution provider, and at the end we selected the Airport solution because they provided the best solution for the Oils. And after that, we started the first phase implementation, and then we developed the seven workflows and forms in the first phase. Then we moved on 1st April 2021, we go live our system, and now based on the solution provided by the Airport, now Ray and users are very happy with solution. Before transformation, we faced lots of challenges. That challenges related to the related to the storage, related to the manual approval, and time related to the time-taking process and dependency. So first one is the storage of all documents in the, because earlier we store all the documents in the storeroom. So it is very challenging for us to select and get and found the data from the storeroom every time or record rooms. Second one is the manual approval process. So in a single day, we signed more than 200 pages manual signatures. So this is the biggest challenge for us that time. After that time-taking process, of course, if we need some documents, so we need to go to the record room and search the documents. It's a very painful process for that time. After that, dependency on departments as well as the users. So basically, if the user is not available, so document is placed for 3 days, 2 days. So this kind of challenges we faced before the digital transformation. Why we adopt the Canon Airport system? So basically, as I mentioned earlier, like we did a POC with a different solution provider. But at the end, OLS has decided to engage with the Therefore on its digital journey, as a Therefore design a solution that fulfills OLS India end-to-end process requirements for simple and clean integration with our existing systems. So we developed, in the first phase, we developed the 7 workflows. And so today I'm going to share you 3 workflows which help, where Therefore help us to provide the good solution. So in the first phase, we developed the 7 workflow, and more than 50 workflows, forms and related to the different purposes will be developed in the upcoming years. In the future, we will take the Therefore support to adopt advanced features to integrate the system with OLS India customers and suppliers. So I'm going to share the 3 process. First one is the good receipt notes, that called GRN. So we received the bulk of documents from the supplier side. So we scan that document and we categorize in the Therefore system. And after that, the person initiate the workflow, and based on the workflow, the authorized person approved the flows, and it's automatically stored in the categorized form, and the concerned department received the email notification. It's a very simple process now after digitalization. Second one is vendor registration. In vendor registration, again, purchase department from see the vendor forms and different supporting documents, and we store all the documents in the categorized form, and we trigger the workflow based on the pre-approval authorization. For form is approved, and then it's stored in the SAP system. Third one is the purchase requisition. So basically, we fill the form in the Therefore system based on the and we store or we attach the documents, the required documents, and based on that, it goes to the different authority persons to approve the documents, and after that, purchase department process the user PRs. And now we talk about the benefits. So what kind of benefits we receive? So first one is the reduced time and cost, easy to find the document with the help of index data, eliminate the user dependency, eliminate the convey of document to department and users, document security, safe paper, safe environment, and last one is the e-approval. So these benefits we received after the digital transformation. Now, upcoming milestone, like I came to know that survey, like we are soon this smart capture feature. So soon we will develop this thing in OLS India. And second one is a digitalization of sales documents. And third one is an e-form for the OLS customers and the suppliers. So we will develop this thing in the upcoming months. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Deepak. This was very insightful. It's always great to learn how our customers use our solution. It could be very, very diverse. So massive thank you for that. Now I'd like to introduce Sunny, our next speaker from Australia. Sunny is not only a product advocate within Income Pro, but he's also extreme user and self-taught architect of Therefore. So he taught himself how to use the Therefore solution designer, and now he's making his own workflows, his e-forms, and the entire technical setup he's got at his company without even accessing our e-learning. So he's very, very passionate. And now I'd like to welcome Sunny. Please turn on your microphone and your camera, and please share your story with us.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sunny, and I work for Income Pro in South Australia. I would like to share with you my experience I had. I work for Income Pro. We do cultural services for Aboriginal people in Australia. My position in company is IT and record management coordinator. And Income Pro, we are the first Aboriginal owned and operated NDIA services in Australia. Established in 2011, Income Pro commenced offering outreach services to Aboriginal people with a disability, currently based in Adelaide's northern suburb with a regional base in Port Augusta. I'll tell you a little bit about our background of our company. IncomePro offers a variety of services and resources to support and assist vulnerable Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people living with a complex disability and significant mental health. We also offer a mentoring services for young people up to age of 18. In early 2018, we discovered Dayforce software and how it could help us managing our information. We then had a system go live by end of that same year. We have recently migrated to Dayforce Online as well. So we'll talk about a little bit about life before Dayforce. We store document at our server drive, and most of them are also still paper filing. The document were not secure, paper were not filed correctly. Trying to find records was a long task as well. The record were not kept up to date as there was not a reminder system in place. There were missing documents. It was time consuming for staff as well, and staff was becoming frustrated. The higher volumes of paper caused issue with the record keeping and paper trail for auditors. The solution. So what Dayforce has done for us is, by having Dayforce system in place, it reduced the filing time by overall. This method is more faster and productive. Invoices and incident report forms are now easier to process due to the workflow we have been able to set up. The auditors now have no issue when looking for our records, information related to the business. The other thing, we had Dayforce on-prem before starting of 2021, and then suddenly everyone had to start working from home due to pandemic. We contacted Dayforce regarding this issue, and they suggested us to move Dayforce online from on-prem, and which made easier for our staff to work from home. And we can now look up all the records from Dayforce Navigator from anywhere in Australia. So when we didn't have Dayforce software, our auditors and staff were having hard time finding the record. Now we can we and our auditors can find records in just seconds when we need to look for the record. Before, therefore, we had to call our employees to keep their training and certificates like first aid, manual handling, police clearance, driving license up to date. But now, therefore, send reminder messages to our staff and our managers before and after their training and certificates are expired. Therefore, is very user-friendly. I have learned not only how to use, I have also learned how to create reports, new category, workflows, keyword dictionary. So there's a lot of stuff, and therefore I do without anyone's help. And I teach my staff as well. And it was easy for our staff to learn as well how to use this system. There are some future projects going on with this, therefore. So we are converting all of our PDF forms that we currently use in our organization. We'll turn them to e-forms, so they are easy to fill out and easy to access. All the archive records are being scanned into Dayforce to save storage space from paper files. Thank you everybody for watching.
Great, thank you so much, Sunny, for that very insightful look into how IncomePro is using Therefore. And I have to say, hats off to you for learning how to use Therefore all on your own. I would say for the users, it's quite easy, but to learn on your own how to use it from an administrator perspective is quite an accomplishment. So congratulations with that. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, great. So thank you again, Sunny, Deepank. Great stories from both of you. So we are going to end on time. So if I would ask the team, Adele, Tregek, Michael, maybe you have some final thoughts for our audience today before we close out today's session.
I think that the strong participation today is showing that the topics are very relevant, and as we heard from our customers, providing great efficiency. So as all of you are making your plans for 2023, our key message is please work with our team. We are here for you.
Great. Thank you, Michael. Tregek, any thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I basically, to me, customer story is the key thing to me. Every customer story is unique, and definitely I'm actually happy to see that they are making use of Dayforce solution as a real-time business platform. Thank you for that.
Adele?
Thank you, everyone, for your participation and being here with us. This is very special because we only have this event once a year, and we always try new things, and we're just glad to see that we're getting positive feedbacks. Special thanks to the exciting panel discussion. I really enjoyed discussing the key challenges of the data governance with you, because it's more than ever now, it is a good time to talk about this topic, and we learned so much from your experience, from Doug and Chifei and Stefan.